Blasphemous is.
Blasphemous is a Metroidvania video game developed by Spanish studio The Game Kitchen and published by Team 17. The game was released for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch on September 10, 2019, with Warp Digital handling the console ports. Versions for macOS and Linux were released on September 21, 2020. A version for Amazon Luna was released on October 20, 2020. It began as a Kickstarter campaign in 2017. A sequel, titled Blasphemous 2, was released on 24 August 2023. Area in Cvstodia. Blasphemous is a Metroidvania action-adventure game taking place in the fictional region of Cvstodia. Players assume control of the Penitent One, a silent knight wielding a sword named Mea Culpa, as he travels the land in a pilgrimage. The game involves exploring Cvstodia while fighting enemies, which appear in most areas. The Penitent One can fight enemies by attacking them with his sword at close range, or by casting spells that can be learned. By damaging enemies with melee attacks, the player gains fervor, which is consumed to cast spells. Each enemy has a certain attack pattern which players must learn in order to dodge them and avoid taking damage. Some enemy attacks can be parried by blocking at the right time, leaving foes vulnerable and allowing the Penitent One to counterattack them for increased damage. When getting hit, the protagonist's health decreases, but it can be recovered by consuming bile flasks. Defeating enemies rewards Tears of Atonement, the game's currency, that can be spent on shops to upgrade the player character and obtain items. Numerous upgrades can be acquired at various points of the adventure, which include increasing the Penitent One's maximum health, fervor, and amount of bile flasks carried, and unlocking new abilities for world exploration and combat. By exploring, interacting with NPCs, and completing side quests, multiple items can be found, which, when equipped, provide stat bonuses, reduce or nullify certain types of damage, or provide access to otherwise inaccessible areas. There are collectibles in the form of bones that can be delivered in a certain place to receive rewards, and Children of Moonlight, trapped angels that can be freed by attacking the cages they are in. There are multiple checkpoints in the forms of altars located in multiple areas of the map. The player can rest in these checkpoints to fully replenish their health and refill any used bile flasks, save their progress, and equip certain abilities, but doing so will also cause all previously slain enemies, excluding bosses, to respawn. The Penitent One will die if his health is fully depleted or if he falls into spikes or into a bottomless pit. Upon death, he will respawn in the last checkpoint visited, and a guilt fragment will appear in the location of his death, or near it if he was killed by spikes or falling. The player will have reduced maximum fervor and gain less fervor and Tears of Atonement from enemies until the guilt fragment is recovered by reaching its location and interacting with it. Alternatively, there are certain points where this penalty can be eliminated for a fee. Additionally, after every boss, all guilt is alleviated as well.
Plot setting and characters. The game is set in Cvstodia, a land of religion, highly influenced by Roman Catholicism, its iconography, Holy Week in Spain, and Spanish culture, particularly that of Andalusia. The land is hallowed by a force known as the Miracle, also referred to as Sorrowful Miracle or Grievous Miracle. This force manifests itself by sometimes blessing and sometimes cursing Cvstodia's inhabitants, transforming them into twisted creatures, subject to eternal torment. The protagonist is the Penitent One, the sole survivor of the Brotherhood of the Silent Sorrow, called so because their members have agreed to a vow of silence. He wears a helmet that consists of a face mask and barbed wire around a pointed helmet similar to a capurote. His sword originated when a woman, praying for punishment to ease her guilt, repeatedly hit her chest with an effigy of the Twisted One, who is in turn considered the first miracle. The sword is adorned with spikes as of that of a rose and an effigy. At the beginning of the game, a thorn is given to the Penitent One to attach to the sword's handle, which allows it to feed on its wielder's sins. During his pilgrimage, the Penitent One meets characters such as Deogracius, who is found in several key moments of the story and acts as a narrator for the game. Redento, a pilgrim who walks with his back bent and his hands tied as a form of penance. Candelaria, an old merchant who sells various items. And Viridiana, who offers assistance to the player in boss battles. There is a governing church led by His Holiness Escribar, who was reborn as the last son of the Miracle, long before the game's events. In the true ending revealed through the Wounds of Eventide DLC, the story changes completely. By strengthening the thorn attached to the Mea Culpa and uncovering hidden truths, the Penitent One discovers that the Miracle is controlled by higher beings known as the High Wills. Along the way, he meets Perpetua and the exiled Visage, a forgotten guardian punished for learning the truth about the miracle. The exiled visage reveals that Cvstodia herself is being controlled by divine forces. Using the true power of the mea culpa, the Penitent One frees her from the miracle's influence, and together they challenge the source of Cvstodia's suffering. Beyond reality lies the dream, a hidden realm where the high wills reside. These giant golden faces feed on humanity's guilt, pain, and devotion. They created the miracle to trap the people of Cvstodia in an endless cycle of suffering so they could grow stronger through worship. Every monster, every punishment, every act of penance existed only to feed them. In the final battle, the Penitent One and Cvstodia destroy the high wills and finally break the cycle. The miracle loses its power, the cursed souls of Cvstodia are freed, and the legendary Twisted One is finally released from eternal torment. But with the miracle gone, the Penitent One can no longer survive. The mea culpa crumbles into dust as he dies peacefully at last, ending his endless pilgrimage. Yet even after everything, Blasphemous hints that the nightmare may not truly be over. In a final scene, a massive womb descends from the heavens carrying a mysterious figure inside, setting the stage for Blasphemous 2. The game's DLC stories expand the tragedy even further. Stir of Dawn introduces Laudes and the Amanakitas, warriors condemned for loving the Twisted One more than the miracle itself. Strife and Ruin brings a crossover with Bloodstained, where the Penitent One helps Miriam escape Cvstodia through deadly trials. Beyond its story, Blasphemous became legendary because of its disturbing religious imagery and unforgettable art style, inspired by Spanish Catholic traditions and the paintings of Francisco Goya. Its world is brutal, tragic, and deeply symbolic. Beneath all the monsters and violence lies one terrifying idea. What happens when faith becomes obsessed with suffering? In Cvstodia, pain became religion, guilt became power, and salvation became impossible. But through endless sacrifice, one silent warrior finally shattered the cycle. The Penitent One never spoke a single word, yet his actions changed an entire kingdom forever. Thanks for watching.